Good morning, class 8, History Chapter 2. Chapter name is British Rule in India. In this chapter, we came to know about the interesting journey of conquest from simple traders to converting India into a British colony. The first topic is European trading companies or coming of the European. The Indian subcontinent was famous for its spices as well as for its wealth. First of all, India was discovered by a sea route by Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer. Portuguese dominance only extended to the coast. They never made inroads into the Indian interior. Other European powers like the Dutch, the French, and the British followed it. The next is Dutch East India Company. The Dutch East India Company was established in 1602. The company built trading posts and forts along the coastline of India. Next is French East India Company formed in 1642. There was a constant conflict with Dutch and English in India, financial dependence on the French government and under the control of the French government. Then there is a English East India Company. The English East India Company was chartered by Queen Elizabeth I on December 31, 1600 for the developing trade and commerce with Asia for a period of 15 years. The principal cause of introducing the English East India Company was to breaking the monopoly of the Dutch in the spicing trade with the East Indies. Anglo-French War. Next topic is Anglo-French War. It is also known as a Carnatic War because they were fought in the region of the Carnatic, and Carnatic comprised the Tamil Nadu, southeast Karnataka, and southern Andhra Pradesh. Carnatic War were a series of military conflicts on the Indian subcontinent between the French and English East India Company. France was allowed to have trading posts but could not administrate them. This brought an end to the French ambition in India. British conquest of Bengal. The ruler of Bengal, Ali Vardi Khan, had been the virtually self-appointed Nawab. Bengal was a prosperous land and the British now wanted control over it. In 1717, the Mughal Emperor Farooq Sayyar had granted special privilege to the East India by a royal farman. Farman means royal order issued by the emperor. According to this, the British were allowed to trade without paying taxes and could not issue dastaks. Dastaks is free trade pass issued to the East India Company or passes for the movement of goods. However, private trade by the company servants was not included in this farman. The Nawabs were not only happy with the wrong interpretation of the royal farman, and this led to a conflict between the East India Company and the Nawab. Next is Battle of Plassey. The Battle of Plassey was the most decisive battle that marked the beginning of British rule in India. After Sirajudullah captured Fort William, the British sent the ambitious general Robert Clive to take charge and defeat the Nawab of Bengal. The Nawab forces were huge as compared to the size of the British army. After this battle, the company got the control of the rich provinces of the Bengal. The vast resources of the provinces were used to conquer more areas of India. The Battle of Plassey had far-reaching consequences to the fate of India, and it is proved to be very foundation stone for the British Empire in India. Next is Battle of Buxar. Battle of Buxar. The British wanted a puppet ruler, whereas Mir Kazim wanted to be an independent of their own control. The Mughal emperor had become weak and Shah Alam II was wandering about 1759. Their combined forces met the British forces at the Battle of Buxar in 1764. The British got the right of free trade in Awadh and they were allowed to keep a British army at the expense of the Nawab of Awadh. Shah Alam II got the districts of Kora and Allahabad and was also given an annual pension of 26 lakh rupee. In return of this favor, Shah Alam gave the Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa to the British. This treaty legalized the British East India Company control over whole of Bengal. The Nawab depended on the British for this internal and external security. The company also controlled the Nizamat, dual system of administration. The dual system held a great advantage for the British. They had power without responsibility. The Nawab and his officers were responsible for administration, but they had no power to discharge it. This system proved disastrous for Bengal, as neither side was concerned for the welfare of the people. The Nawab could not assist his people even if he wanted to, for all the state resources were controlled by the English East India Company. The company, on its parts, was more concerned with maximizing its profit than anything else. Trade and commerce were disrupted, and industry and skill ruined. In 1772, Warren Hastings put an end to this dual system. Thank you.